3 things in your generational line that you have observed that is good or bad. Who wants to go first? 3 things.
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Family oriented,
Okay,
hard workers,
okay,
and loyal.
okay. Name 3 things that you feel could change or be improved. So that was the 3 good. Give me 3 in the opposite.
Dealing with the issues at hand.
Okay, so they don't confront.
They don't confront it.
Okay.
It'll come out at, like I said, a bad time.
Right, in the middle of an argument.
Middle of a ceremony.
Okay, wow, okay. Yeah, okay.
Another thing they could prove on is emotionless. I say emotionless. The reason I say emotionless is because they don't express how they really feel or say, I love you or anything like that. It's more of you know how I feel. Like that. You know I care. Another thing I would like to see improve is the generation gap between, I say like from my father's age to my age.
Okay.
It's a huge gap.
What type of gap?
Lines of I could say, as far as communication, really.
Communication, okay.
Because a lot of stuff what they dealing with was dealing with in their past or in what happened in their childhood, it comes up later, and now we have to deal with it, and we have to face it and deal with it. And they were like, why did you deal with it that way? It was like, well, we wasn't brought up the same way y'all was brought up.
Right.
So we just gonna talk about it and deal with it and squash it and move on.
Well, now, let me say this. Culturally, as African Americans, it is very common in our families that we don't talk about stuff. That's how, in fact, not talking about it is how we talked about it. Okay? If it was anything that made us uncomfortable, incest, physical abuse, molestation, mental illness, we don't talk about, we just don't deal with it. Now, here's part of the problem. Some of us are walking around with residuals of this craziness. And have you ever asked yourself, where did I get that from? Where did that come from? Who started? Well, let's see. Well, Uncle Melvin, there was something wrong with Uncle Melvin, but I can't really remember what was wrong because nobody ever talked about it. And even how we deal with mental illness. He's just crazy. We label everybody in one category, just crazy, and we're done with them. Oh, well, they elevator don't go all the way up. They not wrapped that tight. Something wrong with them. And then we're done with them. Now, we don't know if Uncle Melvin is on medication. We don't know where it stemmed from. We don't even know exactly what's wrong with Uncle Melvin. We just know there's something wrong with Uncle Melvin. Can anybody identify? And they just kind of brush it away. Like we don't bother him because we know. Anybody else want to stab at 3 good things of your family and your lineage and your generation? Yes, Josh, go ahead, baby. Give me 3.
3 good things about my family is that we at least uplift each other in times when we really need it.
Okay.
And we send each other messages like, hey, John 3:16, for God so loved the world.
Okay.
Just for simple reasons.
Okay, that's good.
Another is to basically sometimes go out and fellowship with each other, just make sure that.
Just on GP, nothing special,
Right.
Just because that.
Yeah, just like everybody.
That's good.
Just everybody come.
Okay, good.
And last one I have to say is that we sometimes think about where we came from and our roots. We sometimes also have a discussion of our family.
Very good. Very good. That helps to keep family lineage alive and talk about it. If there was one thing that you could change in your family, what would it be?
To talk about what secrets is hiding behind.
Wow. How many of us got secrets in our families? Now, I got to ask this question. Dana, I don't know how much of a secret it is if everybody knows it's a secret. I don't.
Some people talk about it and some folks don't.
Right.
A group will get together and blah, 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 and he's gonna tell such and such, or like, such and such is really their daddy, and then 4 years.
Oh, God,
years
nah.
later, and now the daddy that you thought was your daddy.
It really ain't your daddy.
Right.
Because they didn't told you that your daddy is your uncle, but your uncle is really your daddy.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, I just had this discussion today. I said, I think that every child has a right to know who his or her parents are, regardless to how the child was conceived. Because this is what generally happens. Let's say the man is married, the woman is messing around with the guy, the woman is messing around with the guy, she gets pregnant, nobody talks about it. Well, the man hushes it because he's married. The woman goes on in shame or whatever and goes on in her life. Nobody thinks about there's a whole human being that's growing and getting older and looking in the mirror day after day and saying, I wonder who I look like. Or I get that my left side belongs to her, but who does this right side belong to? Where did I get this anger from? Why am I behaving this way? And I love God. God is important to me. Jesus is the center of my joy. Got it. But I still got all of this stuff that I'm dealing with that's in me. And because these things are happening generationally, sometimes it can keep me from having healthy relationships, healthy friendships, healthy associations. It can create fear. It can cause me to run away. It can cause me to shut down. It can cause me, like Carlton was talking about, the lack of communication. For a long time, my method, when I got angry, I just ain't got nothing to say. What you saying? I'm saying. What is that? You don't hear nothing? I'm talking loud. I'm talking loud, like it's explosive. You can hear me down in Livernois. That's how loud I'm talking when I ain't saying nothing. What I didn't recognize was, what it was doing was, it was disabling me from communicating to other people of what was really going on, and yet I had an expectation for them. Does this make any sense? I yet had an expectation for them, but in all fairness, how could they actually fulfill the expectation when I didn't even say what the doggone expectation was? So when I said, well, no, I don't know. Then my frustration became, wait a minute. Now that I'm trying to communicate, now I'm struggling. Now I'm angry that I can't verbalize what I'm really trying to say when I recognize, well, you really are a novice at this. This isn't something you've always done. And your family didn't do it. So where were you going to pick up these great skills from? Makes sense. Anybody else? And then we're going to move to the survey. Anybody? Go ahead, Londarius.
So cooks.
Okay.
They know how to get together, bring everybody together, and one more good thing. I can't think of another one.
You guys do very well with extended family.
Yeah. Okay.
And some families are good at immediate, but you guys do very well with extended. Like, that's my cousin, that's my cousin, that's my cousin. But it could very well be third or fourth cousin.
Yeah.
But all of my cousins. You know, kind of like in my family, once you say cousin, we don't get into if you're the third one, the fourth one, or the ninth one. We just know you cousin. That's good enough. Can't remember the name. Hey, cuz. 37 people turn around at the same time. Sounds good to me. One thing that you'd like to see change in your family. Now, you shook your head like it was probably a plethora on that list, but give me one.
The two-facedness.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's, yeah, they pros at it,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
They do that hugging you, hey, how you doing, we love you, walk right out of the room, child, you know, that don't make no sense, they're two-faced stuff.
And probably, Londarius, it's been going on so long, they don't even identify it as that. They probably don't. Because there are probably some things that you identify in your family that it's been happening so long, you don't, I mean, you know what I mean? Like you function in dysfunction. You function in it. And all of us in this room can function easily in dysfunction. That's how people can stay with people they don't love. It's like, I don't love you, but well, yeah, I mean, you know, John, staying is better than leaving, so I'll stay. I mean, and then you can justify it to yourself, like, well, do you really have to be in love? Once you start getting there, you are moving into another area. You do know that, right? Oh, Lord, y'all quiet. Lord, help me today. Jesus, let us pray, Jesus. I feel like we should be joining hands and doing kumbaya right there. Okay, let's do the survey. Let's get to it, all right? On one side of this page here, it's got 1 through, what is that, 25, and then the second side is 26 through 50. You will notice to, I guess that would be to your right, well, on this side, on the front side, it is to your left. On the opposite side, it would then be to your left as well, where there are numbers 1 through 5, okay? Number 1 is where you most disagree. 3 is sometimes you agree. And 5 is you agree, totally. Now, if you forget what I said, don't even worry about it, because the other sheet that you have on the front, down near the bottom, it listed 1, 3, and 5. Okay, if you look near the bottom where it says what to do, it says score your assessment using a scale where 1 indicates that the statement does not apply at all, 3 indicates that the statement applies about half of the time, 5 indicates that the statement always applies to you. Okay.
So we're not 2 and 4 don't apply.
Right, so you can actually, if you're writing, Kim, you can just, you know, draw a straight line down for 2 and 4 because you're not using that at all. Like, for example, number 1 over here says, I realize immediately when I lose my temper. 1 is it does not apply at all. 3, about half of the time. 5 is always. How many of you in here know when you have lost your temper? You never lose your temper? John, you're in church, baby, stop. Right. I saw a hand over here. Yes, sir.
Oh, I realize my needs.
You do. Do you realize when you're going like up this escalator towards losing it? Do you do anything to try to diffuse it? Or do you just let it go? It's like, I'm going now. Sometimes. Depending on circumstance, depending on the person. And look, feel free to share with each other if you want to. I'm waiting on my mask to come, M-A-S-K, because everybody in here is going to get one. They haven't come yet, but I'm waiting on. Yes, ma'am.
So we're writing the answers to this on this?
No, if you just write your answers on here, then when you get to the next page, the closing page.
Right,
Oh yeah, you can write it, but you still want to calculate.
right, but you still got to
It's
calculate.
easier to write on here and just add on.
Yeah, you can just do that.
Yeah, however, I mean, because they're your sheets. So however you want to do that. I mean, these aren't sheets you're turning in. These are yours. Huh? A check? Well, I would at least suggest that you circle the one that is most applicable. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying, remember, this is something that you are keeping. The assessment is to see where you are. Because it talks about, no. This was just a little exercise, and we're going to have a series of them. One of the reasons why I want you to keep them is so that as we're going weeks through, you can always go back and check. You all right, Sister Rhonda?
I can't see, so I'm gonna step outside, so
I know it's hard to see.
Okay.
My glasses.
Okay.
I can't see. Thank you.
Well, maybe can somebody read each line?
I don't mind. I'll keep reading. I don't mind. The first one is, again, I realize immediately when I lose my temper. Number 2, I can refrain bad situations quickly.
Okay, my answer is like.
I'm sorry, refrain. Huh?
My answer is like in between.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
And some of them may be.
And that's number 3, it's supposed to be in between.
Yes, 3 is in between. 3 is sometimes.
It's a little more than sometimes or a little less than sometimes.
If it is a little bit more than sometimes or a little bit less than all of the time, then you got to go with 3 because 3 is the closest to it. 2 and 4 is not an option. And if you put in 2 or 4, it's going to throw off your score assessment.
So you got 1, 3, and 5.
1, 3, and 5. 1 is never, 3 is sometimes, 5 is all of the time. So I get what you're saying, Giselle. It might be 60% of the time versus 100%.
Or 50.
Okay, 50 would be 3.
No, I'm saying it's versus 50. Like it'd be 60 versus.
It don't matter, it's still 3. You don't have 4. Dana, you had your hand raised? I'm sorry. Yes.
Question about refrain. Are you saying you can like remember bad situations?
No, it means no, it means like coming back from it quickly. Like how fast can you like bounce back from when you're angry? You know, some people can be angry today. You see them next week this time, they still mad about it. Some people can be mad now. By the time they get to their car, when they say to you, I'm straight, I'm good, they really are good. Well, that might be true, but it says that. You know, it could depend on the situation and it could depend on the person. Some people push your buttons quicker than others. Some people can send you like a Maserati quick anger. 0 to 60 in 0.30. Other folks, you're like, you're really starting to wear my patience. I'm counting to 10. I'm counting to 20. I'm counting to 37. I ain't going past 38. And then some people, you can totally ignore them altogether. Okay. Number 3, I'm able to always motivate myself to do difficult tasks. Might be a little bit of a challenge there. Now, the one thing I want you to do is please be honest. Okay, it doesn't matter if your score is lower than the person that is sitting around you or next to you. It really doesn't matter. I just want you to be honest about it because we cannot uproot things unless we're very honest with ourselves. Yes, Mr. Briggs? Were you raising your hand? Oh, okay. See, don't be stressed about it. It's not, Giselle, it is not designed to be stressful. I am always able to see things from the other person's viewpoint.
Now, what other individuals? Say other individuals are not difficult, just different.
Huh? What number?
Number 29.
Okay. Number 29. Other individuals are not difficult, just different. Well, that would be whoever you put in that category. Because who you put in that category might not be who Toya is assessing, might not be who Amber is assessing. So this is personal. Some people, and it's saying here, other individuals are not difficult, just different. Now, here's the difference. If you view people different versus difficult, you can probably be more tolerant. Maybe. Because some people are not good with folk being different from them. You do know that some folk get angry when people don't do things the way they do them. For example, you've always put the dishes on the right side of the cabinet. All right? You get a roommate, you get a spouse, and they walk right in, pick the dishes up out the box, set them in the left cabinet. You're like, why did you do that? They're like, I just put the dishes up. You're like, no, the dishes go on the right side. Why? Is there like a dish law says that's going to right? Well, no, but I mean, all of my family, my mama, everybody, they put their dishes on the right. I mean, like, you don't do that? Or little stuff like, okay, you didn't use the ketchup. You're not going to put it in the refrigerator, or the hot sauce. You're not going to put it in the refrigerator. You're just going to leave it out in the cabinet.
Hot sauce don't go in the refrigerator.
See, there we go. You say the hot sauce goes where? In the cabinet. You say it go in the cabinet. You say it go in the refrigerator. You say it go in the cabinet. Londarians say the hot sauce goes in the refrigerator. Hot sauce go in the cabinet.
If my food is already scorching hot, I don't need to add more hot dressing to it.
So why you do the hot sauce?
But hot sauce is not dressing.
This is what, but understand this, people of God, understand this. But listen, but this is how we get into conflict and issue in church. This is how, do you hear me? But this is how, when we're worshiping together, this is how we run into conflict. People supposed to stand up and clap. You ain't supposed to just sit there. If you was feeling anything, you'd be clapping and rocking. Maybe I don't clap and rock. That don't mean I didn't feel nothing. Anybody feel me? Well, I'm preaching. Didn't nobody say amen? I guess wasn't nobody listening. Then I get home and I get 7 texts. Bishop, that scripture that you read, it was St. Matthew, blah, 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 blah. That really that blessed me. That messed me up right there. I was on that one. What the world? Somebody was listening. And this is what we do in our daily lives. This is how we handle relationships, job situations. This is how, there is no law. There is nothing written that says hot sauce goes in the refrigerator or the cabinet.
Right there underneath at the bottom.
No, it is not. Y'all missing it. Are you getting my point? And we are adamant on it. And 9 out of 10, now watch this. Who says it goes in the refrigerator? Hot sauce goes in the refrigerator. Okay, wait a minute. John, who did you first see put hot sauce in the refrigerator? Londarius, who did you see? Carlton, who did you see not put it in the refrigerator?
My great-great-grandma.
See, told you.
But she made hers, so she was like, don't do it.
Bless her heart. That's what I'm talking about. Make your hot sauce.
Okay, what do you mean by delayed gratification?
Okay, first of all, you got to tell me what number you on, baby.
Okay, 33.
Right.
Okay, 33. Delayed gratification is a virtue that I hold to. Delayed meaning,
You can wait till I have it first.
right, delayed gratification is every time you get your paycheck.
Makes you feel good.
You work a week or you work 2 weeks. There's no gratification in that work, for real, until you get that check. That's delayed.
And I hold on to that?
Well, you might be mindful of how you utilize it, because you know another one ain't coming for another week or 2 weeks. Delayed gratification can be in any number of things, like she mentioned about a purse. It could be a trip that you're taking. You're paying on it a little bit at a time. You savor when it says hold on to, like you savor it, you enjoy it. Number 42 is interesting. I can suppress my emotions when I need to. Somebody say, you all right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know you about to bust out in tears. Anybody ever got the lump in their throat and you just kind of walked away? People thought you were mad, but you was really faking it. You walked away so people couldn't really see how you were really feeling. They was like, I was talking, they just walked away. And what you really wanted to say, if I stand here and keep talking to you, I'm going to bust out and start crying like a lame, and I ain't about to do that. So I'm just going to play hard. I'm going to walk off.
Yeah.
41, I can let anger go quickly so that it no longer affects me.
Carlton.
Woo!
Carlton.
Woo! Right, you right, Josh. Shots fired. Woo!
I'm glad everybody getting their healing today. That was my prayer. Let it all out.
I'm Rudy.
Yeah. Let it all out. Let it all out.
Here's one.
Number 32.
32, okay. I do not let stressful situations or people affect me once I have left work.
It's okay, Carlton.
How many of us take work right along with us after we leave?
Right there. That guy right there. That guy right there.
I'm glad you guys were honest. I'm going to tell you something that I used to practice while you guys are working on this. One of the things that I used to do, me and some of my co-working teachers, we would get together like once a week after work and they hang out, we talk and everything. One of the rules for the engagement of time was we will not talk about our job. Anybody that talks about the job, that's $1 fine. So don't talk about the job, because if you talk about the job, you will get a fine. Now let me tell you something I learned. The first thing I learned was we decided not to talk about the number one thing that brings us together. That's why it's so hard when folk begin to build relationships at church, that when they leave church, that's what they're talking about. Because you talk about the thing that joined you. But you're trying to build a relationship outside of that. The only way you build a relationship outside of that is you've got to exclude that element. Here's the other thing. Some of you, well, let's see. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, how many of you like your jobs on a scale of 10? Show of hands. Highest is 10, 1 is the lowest. That means 1 is I hate it, can't stand it, but it's a job, it's a paycheck, so I go. Okay, 10, you like your jobs. Okay, all right. John, tell me one thing about your job you like. You like the fact that you get paid and you don't really do nothing. Okay. Gerald, what do you like about your job?
Customer service.
Okay. So John, let's come back to you. So John wants a job, but he don't want to work.
Really?
That's what you said.
This sounds like a break.
No, not if you're getting paid for 8 hours.
Well, look, you gotta think though, all the long years, like, just go back like,
No, it don't go like that.
all the groups are hard.
Well, that's like saying, well, I'm in a relationship, so I don't have to make this one work because I worked at the last 2, so I ain't got to work on this. Don't go like that. No. No. But I mean, it works for you. I'm cool with it. Ain't no judgment here.
Another one, because it's elevation in this job.
Okay. When you elevate, will more work be involved?
More responsibility.
So there's more work. You're comfortable with that? Okay. All right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yes, sir.
When I was working, my excitement was meeting the stars of our local area.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
noticing how they shop and what they pick up. And
Wow.
the curious things that they grab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? How I need to know?
Well, no, I wouldn't necessarily.
Like I met Chuck Gator, I met Carmen Harlan, I met some of the basketball players,
Okay.
some of the football players, some of the people that do all the sports and all that stuff.
Were
I was
they
just curious, like.
were they friendly?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. And like some of them, like one guy, he would come in and buy a whole case of wine. I mean, I
That
don't know
was
what he's
it.
doing with it,
That was his thing.
but that was his thing, you know.
Okay. 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 Anybody like their job? Maybe a 5 or a 6. 5 or a 6. Okay. Amber, what makes it a 5 or a 6 for you?
Family.
Okay. All right. Dana, I think you had your hand up. 5 or 6. Okay, I'm listening.
What makes it a
Yeah, for you, because it wasn't a 10. It's not a 1. It's a 5 or a 6. So why?
It's not my passion.
It's not your passion. Okay. If you could work your ideal job and it was your passion, what would it be?
The songwriter.
That's your passion. So why aren't you doing that?
I was doing it, so now I have to get back into it.
She writes songs like every
They had a show called Songland, and it's, you like Songland? Oh my God, I'm changing people's lives.
Good. Good. That's a goal. That's good. Nicole, did you raise your hand for 5 or 6? Okay. Tell me why.
This is it.
Yeah. It's not a 10. I'm not like excited, can't wait to get there. But it's a job. I mean, it's not the worst job I've ever worked. It's just okay.
I just like the fast pace and that I mean, yeah, the fast pace. That's what I like about it.
Fast paced in terms of my working time goes by very fast. Okay. All right. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Mine is not a 10, but it's not a 506.
Okay.
I'm a little bit higher than that.
Okay.
I like my job because how much I get paid, the benefits, the room for growth.
Okay.
The downside to that is the interesting people that I talk to every day. That's the
Okay.
downside. They're
Okay.
Very interesting.
Okay.
And I enjoy the fact that I can work from home.
I like the way you term it interesting because that is probably a way that you've learned how to handle the interesting people. That's good.
They have very
That's good.
interesting requests.
See, that's good.
They asked me to drop their keys in the lake. They can open their car from the app. They want to know if I can shift the car so they can drive home.
Hey, the mind is intriguing. Always bear that in mind. Landeros, you had 5 or 6?
Exactly.
Did you raise your hand? Okay, tell me why.
I like it because of the kids.
Okay.
You know, I get a chance to like really talk to them. And,
Okay.
Get to work with them a lot. The only problem that I have with is like the
I know y'all tallying up these numbers because I'm coming back to y'all in a second.
The director of the camp,
Mm-hmm.
she expects you to be in like 5, 6 different places at once,
Okay.
and that's not even possible. And it's like, ma'am, you're not giving me realistic goals here. And so she's constantly, it's kind of like micromanaging, but then again, it's not. It's like, okay, you tell me to do this, I'm gonna do that, and it's like, okay, well, who's over here? It's that pulling.
Has she ever worked at your level or has she always been the supervisor? I mean, like, has she ever done what you do?
I think she has like been a camp counselor before. But I don't think like, I can honestly say, I don't think she recognized that that's what she's doing.
That's possible.
Because you can't expect me to entertain the kids and watch paintbrushes at the same time.
Okay.
Those are in 2 different locations. So, you know, and then you have another camp counselor, this is only 2 of us. You know, you can't expect both of us to be and say, well, they're done with this project, why isn't the other part set up where you wanted me to do this? So I can't
Your
do it.
supervisor almost sounds manic.
Yeah.
She almost sounds manic. Manic, people who suffer from being manic, sometimes people think they're great workers, but they're over the top, like, and they cannot stop. They cannot stop. It's like, get it done, get this done, do this, do that, and they cannot stop. And if they are supervisors, whomever is working under them, it's really hard to work under a manic person because it's almost like you can't say, excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom. Why? Why must you go to the bathroom? Because my bladder said I had to go. That's why I gotta go. Because I'm sorry. Okay, well, I tell you what, if I don't go, we're gonna have some other problems. You need to let me go. Because I'm doing, matter of fact, while I'm talking to you, I'm holding it, okay? That's gonna run out after a while, okay? I'm just letting you know. It's very difficult to manage under a person who is manic. All right, are you guys just about done? Who's done?
I need to have a question about 38.
Okay, let's talk about 38. It says, I can tell if someone has upset or annoyed me.
No, 38.
Oh, 38. I believe in action this day.
Oh, yes.
That means that once your button has been pushed to the limit, you believe in, okay, now I'm identifying, all right, now we're getting ready, right, I've had enough, my buttons has been pushed. Like, some people,
0 to 100,
Real quick.
what do you think it meant?
I mean, like, action, like, today.
It's time to get the word.
Just let them motivate.
Well, and it's okay.
Right now.
It's okay. Remember, this is your personal observation of this. Right, and I understand that. Well, for some people to deal with a situation would classify as being motivated. It doesn't, because dealing with it doesn't always necessarily mean that it is a negative thing. You know, it don't mean like you going to blow up their house. It could be, I've been putting this on the back burner and I haven't addressed it, and now I need to deal with it. So if you took it as an action day, now I'm doing something effective, that's fine. But as well, it could be, now I've got to resolve this matter that has arisen. So it depends on how you're looking at that. Yeah, either or. So that's not a problem. And I guess when we talk about handling a thing, we automatically connect, it must be something bad. Or it's getting ready to go down bad. You know, that's kind of where we are with that. But that is not necessarily the case. All right. How many of you are done? 1, 2. Toya, is that your hand up? Okay. 3. All right. I hope you guys were honest. I'm going to see how many of you are willing to share some of this and tell us why. Because I want to hear, because this helps. This is digging up stuff. Did you think it was fair questions? Reasonable? What'd you say, Toy? Most of them. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to see which ones you thought were not. Let's see. Okay.
Can you explain number 23? I do not read very quick.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And even in that, sometimes, Londarius, I guess it would be who you'd ask.
Fabricate, yeah, that's a lot.
Because some people,
23, fabricate, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, but, you know, it's kind of like some people will tell you, nah, I didn't lie. Right. Some people think stretching the truth or exaggeration is not a lie. Or withholding the truth is not a lie. That's a good question. Let's ask. Come on, class, y'all talk to me. If somebody asks you a question, you've got more information, but you don't tell it all. Did you lie?
Yes, I lied to a mission.
I just looked at the information.
No,
They
that's
didn't
still
ask me,
not.
somebody mad at me about that right now, because they asked me a question, I gave them the answer, but they wanted to know where the source of the information came from. And it's gonna be more, the situation's gonna be more hurtful and have an even worse repercussion if you knew everything.
Okay, well, wait. Now, let's tackle that. and the class is going to help me with this. Was it productive to even tell the person the information?
They came to me with it.
Your best bet would have been, I don't know.
That's a lot.
That's
You
what
gotta-
I.
Well,
No,
but
it's not necessarily. I'm innocent with it and I ain't in it. I
Just
don't know.
because you had a good
Okay.
reason to lie, doesn't mean it's not a lie.
right, now that's the point. Just because you had a good reason not to lie does not mean it wasn't a lie. But in Brandy's case,
She could have said.
Brandy did not lie. She answered the question. Person came and said, "Is today Thursday?" Yes, it is. Now the person wants more in-depth information. Well, who told you today was Thursday? Well, I can't tell you that because if I tell you that, then it creates a bigger problem.
Okay, well, she didn't lie.
That's not withholding.
If that's what she did, then that's not a lie. She just saying.
Was she
I'm not
wrong?
ready to tell you more information because it's gonna cause more harm than good.
But.
But she wasn't, that's not.
But she did not lie. That's
Yeah,
true.
I'm saying withholding information like. it's
But
not-
wait a minute, Giselle, hold on. Go ahead,
Now, the
Brandy.
problem is, you mad at me because you feel like I'm not loyal to you. Because you want me to tell you who told me what the information was, or who the information came from.
But Brandy, here's the thing. For the person to feel that you are disloyal, that means that the person had to believe that there would have been a sense of that this thing, this matter, if something had come up like this, they're viewing it as you would have been loyal enough to tell me that. So that makes you disloyal. I think that it put you from the beginning in a very difficult situation. As Toya said, no, you did not lie.
I didn't lie.
Because you did tell them, you answered the question. Now, should she have just said, I have an answer, but I can't give you the answer because if I give you this answer, then you're going to ask me more questions. Would that have been wrong? That's not a lie.
Because that would have led to more questions.
We still gonna need some more questions anyway.
Well, I mean, but she's conflicted already
Right.
because,
Just shut it down like, look, I'm not telling you, so.
but even to not say
But then on
anything.
that side is, so now, so what you telling me is, you know. And since you know, that means you're part of it because you know.
Right.
And you're
See,
not answering my question.
that's a bad, to me, a situation like that, there is
There is
what,
no right answer.
but I feel like there's no win. There was a right answer. You gave it. You told the truth. But to go further now creates another conflict. Here's the other thing. You not saying it does not mean that you were covering or protecting the other person. You may have been protecting the person that you're telling, because to give them that information may cause them to be locked up, may cause somebody to be injured. I mean, there could be other things that could come out of that. Sometimes, Brandy, I always say there's information that I have, I just wish I didn't.
Exactly.
Because if I don't know, I can tell you the truth. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a difficult place. That's a difficult place. Sean, would you stop? Carlton, would you stop there?